public school in Ohio is facing some backlash after assigning a student videos from the right-wing website PragerU. So now PragerU is not a university. So already false advertising, okay? It's not a university. What it is it's a propaganda channel funded by billionaires to the tunes of millions of dollars per year to put out what is basically conservative propaganda videos. So now, to show you how they're propaganda videos, the titles to some of these videos are "Build the Wall," "Why the Right Was," "Why the Right Was Right," and "The Left Ruins Everything." Just in case you were wondering about that. I mean, "The Left Ruins Everything" is just kind of a, super obvious example. Now, so this school in Ohio is looking at these PragerU YouTube videos and saying, we want to put that in our classroom. So now, according to Huffington Post, which published this story, a 10th grade history class at Maumee High School in Ohio, it turns out a student who went to that class, into that school, was assigned questions for an extra credit opportunity. And so this assignment asked her to watch PragerU videos and to answer questions about how the videos may have challenged her beliefs. And they also instructed her to have the video, to write down the video's most important messages. So that assignment, by the way, came at the same time that the website has been trying to gain further influence inside of K through 12 classrooms. So that's interesting. All right. Now, earlier this month, the organization had launched a program directly aimed at parents and educators, complete with study guides with sections such as "Conservatives are the real environmentalists" and "The Ferguson Lie," based on a HuffPost review of the materials. Yes, totally unbiased sounding videos there. Totally. I mean, wow. I didn't realize conservatives who love oil and gas drilling and hate solar panels, they're the real environmentalists. They're the real people looking out for Mother Earth. Didn't know that. But hey, PragerU. All right, anyway. So now, this was brought to the attention of the school administrators by a parent named Andrea Cutway. Now, she's a mother of a 16-year-old student, Avery Lewis, who had originally gotten this assignment. So now, this student, she thought it was, rather surprising that she was getting an assignment for extra credit that involved her looking up PragerU videos. She's like, no, wait a minute. Well, that's a little bit weird. So she goes and she tells her mother, shows her mother, hey, this is what we're learning. And her mother said it was incredibly inappropriate to be assigning this, what was basically conservative propaganda, to not just her daughter, but other students in the classroom in order to get this extra credit work. Now, administrators, when challenged, they tried a compromise. Here's their compromise. They would allow the students to include videos that reflected views from the other side of the political spectrum. Now, that was her, by the way, that was her daughter's idea. It wasn't the school's idea. No, the girl thought of it. She's like, hey, look, if I have to talk about a PragerU video, then why don't I get something that's from the other side? At least that presents the other perspective. And the school's like, yeah, sure, whatever. Fine. Okay. But overall, they didn't think that it was a problem that PragerU was involved in the first place. I mean, the problem is pretty obvious when you look at it. What about the other students? The other students might not see that there's a problem. The other students might have conservative parents. And so they'll be like, oh yeah, PragerU, it's fine. Because it agrees with everything that I agree with. And so, no, go ahead and do this. Go ahead and watch these videos. Again, that's a bit of a problem. The other students were still instructed to complete the work using those original videos, according to Cutway. Again, these videos, go by the titles of There's No Gender Wage Gap and How to Steal an Election, Mail-in Ballots. Again, all of that completely debunked, total, conservative propaganda framing. And then, of course, who can forget this video? Is Islam a religion of peace? Which, of course, if you watch it, the answer you would come up with is no. I wonder if there were any Muslim students in her class that might have watched that. Now, Cutway, Lewis's mother, was shocked when her daughter showed her the assignment. So then, as a result, she contacted the school's principal, asking who approved that assignment and whether or not students had been given any context for PragerU's point of view. So understand that without that context, how is somebody who's not into politics, a young person, supposed to know? Well, understand that PragerU doesn't want you to know the other perspective. That's the whole point. For them, it's working as intended. Without context, these PragerU videos look really slick, okay? They're well produced, and they present their side as allegedly unbiased, right? They present everything as factual information, even though it is clearly biased. And so they also don't, what they do is misrepresent the other sides of the argument as well. When they do actually mention the other side, oftentimes they don't. Look, streamer Vosh does a great example, does a great stream detailing the examples of PragerU basically doing propaganda. He does breakdowns on his YouTube channel all the time, pointing out the lack of context, of course, the logical fallacies, straight up falsehoods, and calling them out for it. But if you've never been exposed to that or politics and you see one of these PragerU videos, it's pretty easy to pull people into the alt-right pipeline. And so that's the problem. But understand that for PragerU, that is literally the goal. They want you being pulled into the alt-right pipeline. And so Cutway, of course, she had been exposed to this already. And in her email, she told them what these videos are. She said, quote, "It's alt-right propaganda. If you Google PragerU and spend a few minutes scrolling, you will see that the site is controversial at best." She's absolutely right about that. And so now she talked with the school administrators about why this was not good, why they shouldn't be shown in class, and she actually left that conversation more concerned than before. She said, "When I talked to the principal and vice principal, they acted like this was just another assignment. I said, I think at this time, we need to end this call, gentlemen. I don't know what you've allowed to bring into your public school." And it's really our public school. And so this is the stuff, understand, that is getting into the schools, getting into our education system. And she said of PragerU, quote, "This is some really scary stuff. I do feel like they have found a way to get into the public school system." And as I told you before, this is absolutely the goal. This is what PragerU and the conservatives have been trying to do for a while. Now, they always say, public schools and colleges, they're indoctrination centers for the left. In reality, that's projection. What they try to do in school, and actually, they don't even do that good of a job of it, but they try to present just basic facts, right? But, and the reason I say that they do kind of a bad job of it is because I remember learning in school about, certain things, certain historical facts about the United States that were presented even with the view of white supremacy or through the view of white supremacy. Things like the forced relocation of Native Americans, for example, under Andrew Jackson. And it wasn't presented for the horrors that it really was, the Trail of Tears. And it's gotten even worse in these days, where you had, for example, school books in Texas not really talking about the horrors of slavery as they were. And so there is a problem with education. It's not that it's too left-wing. It's that right-wing ideologues have been trying to change it because facts have a problem with challenging their worldview. Okay? Their worldview is antithetical in a lot of instances to the facts. And that's a problem. Okay? And so I believe that children need to be, presented with factual information in order to have those children develop their own opinions and political identities based on those facts. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.